So this video is about why m is the slope of y equals mx plus b. You've seen in investigations, you've seen in class, you've seen in different examples, you probably saw other years, that the slope of mx plus b is m. And in this video we're going to look at why that is. So if we're looking at the question of why m is the slope of this line, we're going to use this definition of the slope. So remember that the slope is the amount that y increases when x increases by 1. So for example, if your slope was 2, if we just look at what that means in terms of rise over run, that's 2 over 1. So the rise of 2, so that's the amount that y is increasing. And the run is 1, so that's x increasing by 1. Now what if you have a slope of 1/2? One way of explaining what that is that y increases by 1 when x increases by 2. But for the sake of this lesson, another way of thinking of it is that that's a half over 1. So it's going up by a half, the rise is a half, when the x value is going up by 1. And then if we have a slope of -3, we can think of that as -3 over 1. So when we say that y is increasing by -3, that means that y is going down by 3, decreasing by 3, every time x increases by 1. So this is just an alternative way of looking at the slope. Either one is perfectly good. So to take a look at why m is the slope of y equals mx plus b, we're going to do one example here. And then we'll look at the general case. So here we've got y equals 2x plus 5. So we know from looking at examples that the slope of that is 2. But if we let's look at y here. So I'm going to fill in the table of values just for some different x values. If x is -2, my y value is 2 times -2 plus 5, and that's 1. If x is -1, I've got 2 times -1 plus 5, that's 3. Let's look at what happens here. I'll do another one first. 2 times 0 plus 5. Let's fill it all in. 2 times 1 plus 5. And 2 times 2 plus 5. So what I've got here, my x value is going up by 1 each time. And if we look at how many 2's we have, that's going up by 1 each time. So here I have, just look at the positive and 0 for a minute. Here I've got 0 2's plus 5. Then I've got 1 2 plus 5 and 2 2's plus 5. So what I'm doing is I'm adding 2 every time my x value goes up by 1. So when I'm increasing my x's by 1, I'm increasing my y's by 2 because 2 is this value here, the m. It's the number we're multiplying x by. But that explains why this is the slope, because when x increases by 1, my y is increasing by 2. If we look at here the general case, y equals mx plus b, if x is -2, we have m times -2 plus b, which we usually just write as -2m plus b. Since here I'm not actually doing any multiplication, I'm just rearranging the numbers. I'll do that all in one step. So here we have -m plus b. Here we have 0m, so that's just going to be b. And then 1m. And then 2m plus b each time. So what's happening here, these are going up by 1, plus 1, plus 1, and so on. And these are going up, well, how much are they going up by? From m plus b to 2m plus b, we're increasing by 1m. And then from b to m plus b, again, we increased by m. And if we look at these, from -m plus b to b, yeah, we're increasing by m again. So every time here, when the x value goes up, we're increasing the y value by m, just because we're multiplying that y value by the x values. So here our slope, our x values are going up by 1, the y values are going up by m. So this is why m is the slope.